Welcome back, Wheelies, to yet another delicious episode. Today I've come to Blend, one of my favorite downtown hotspots, where head chef Amy Tortorich is about to show us what her eclectic culinary background has brought to the table. Let's go meet her and find out all about it. All right, Chef Amy, thank you so much for welcoming us into your kitchen. What I'm going to have you do, if you're willing, is take us through step by step the preparation of your favorite appetizer on the menu.
All right, so I basically have the duck meatball base here, just ground duck. I do one whole egg per pound of meat, a little bit of panko breadcrumbs, a little bit of milk, some French spices, a little bit of pistachio, and some fresh thyme. Keep it super simple, super easy, let the duck shine. So we're just gonna ball some of these meatballs now.
Let that duck shine, I like that.
Yeah, it's a very delicate meat, so you don't want to necessarily overpower the flavor.
Can't be too harsh with it.
No, delicate.
The duck really doesn't appreciate it otherwise, and it comes out in the food, it comes out in the taste.
Absolutely. And we'll serve this over a little bit of goat cheese polenta.
Okay.
So it's a perfect shareable item for this concept. You know, I think the approach that we're taking now is, you know, we want people to gather here and not necessarily have, you know, an entree.
No, but share some small plates and
yeah.
enjoy the various flavors that you offer.
We'll be changing seasonally the menu. We'll be running some specials as well.
But I know what you mean. Sometimes you order too large a dish. It feels like such a commitment.
Yeah.
That, you know, invariably, even if you like it, you feel like, I may have missed out on some of the other flavors. And you hate just stealing off of somebody. Well, a lot of people hate doing that. I don't mind it. But yeah, it's...
Well, I think, you know, this is more a gathering place. So we want your friends, you know, to come in groups and try a little bit of everything.
I know you have private events that you can schedule and make reservations. So, I mean, just for that sort of purpose you mentioned, I think it's an ideal spot.
This is kind of like a timeless spot, you know.
So I'm sure you have that seasoning here in the kitchen. It's not timeless.
Yes. Yes. So we're gonna go ahead and bake these off. It's probably take about 15 minutes. After they get baked through, we'll put a little bit of peach jam on top, and then we'll hit them with a smoking gun.
Can't wait for this peach jam.
Yes, indeed. All right.
If you'd like to see your favorite restaurant featured on the wheel, let us know and submit a request at @GimmeTheWheel on Instagram or www.gimmethewheel.com. We'll be looking for it.
All right. So we have some duck meatballs. We baked them with the peach jam. So to smoke these meatballs, we just basically want to use plastic wrap to create a chamber.
And then we use the smoking gun.
Right, and I usually...
It's almost criminal not to use it.
The smoking gun?
Yeah.
It's a fun toy.
No doubt. We were joking, it may turn whiskey into actual scotch. We're not sure yet about the science of it.
So I'm just gonna find a little spot right there.
Okay.
Turn it on. Basically just want to fill.
Oh man. I didn't know what to expect. This is really cool.
Yeah. So we want to fill that up. And then I'm going to take another piece of plastic wrap. Just cover that. Yeah. It's a fall
I like
smell.
it. No, it really is. Yeah. Even more appropriate.
And you basically want these to hang out probably 10 or 15 minutes just to suck up all of that juicy.
Yeah, it's a hangout atmosphere right now with all the smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're gonna do is just take a little bit of polenta. So this is goat cheese polenta.
Now, for a lot of people that just think polenta, hey, it's fancy grits.
Right.
Prove them wrong. Correct their error.
It is a corn product. It's an Italian style grit, so it's a finer ground than your traditional stone ground grits that you would find in Louisiana. So it's a little take on, you know, when I lived in Italy for a couple of years in the Navy. So, well, how can I incorporate a little bit of my Italian roots with my Louisiana roots? So put those two together.
What you have is a very happy marriage here. Very tasty. Oh, look at that, it's still coming out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
I got a little bit of extra peach jam.
Here's the peach jam.
Yes. Peaches are in season right now. So like I said, we like to use as much seasonal products as possible. And then we're just gonna...
Oh, by the way, I love this board.
Yes.
Sort of like your tree stump presentation. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's a little rustic, a little modern.
If a woodsman had a spread, I think it would look something like this. It's, yeah.
So we don't want too much polenta at the bottom. I'm gonna take the meatballs.
Okay. Awesome.
We're gonna come over with a little bit more of that peach jam just to give it a little glaze.
If Eddie Vedder and Princess Toadstool had a side project, peach jam.
And then I'll just take a little more crushed pistachio.
Okay, crushed pistachio. When the whole pistachios are just a bit too much.
Yeah, you want the textural elements. So I like to use, you know, if you're using the whole one, you might not get.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to expect, but visually it's very attractive too.
So I guess it would be like a modern, rustic approach.
Yeah. A la, okay, so is it ready to be sampled at this point? I don't want to jump the gun with the smoking gun. But, we can edit that in. That was terrible. All right, and now for what makes this job worth it. I'll dig in first if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Let's get a little bit of everything here. Very, very nicely done.
Thank you. So the flavors, you know, you got the fattiness from the duck where the pickled onions kind of cuts through that. Right. You have the textural elements of the pistachios, a little creaminess of the polenta, and just letting the duck shine, a little smoky flavor.
It all blends quite nicely.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not stopping you. I mean, this is your creation, please. Yeah. Just not too much, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a me and you thing. I was very troubled when I saw the third fork. I don't want you guys getting any ideas.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than your traditional Italian meatballs. You get a little bit of the allspice on the back.
And you know, I really can detect the difference here when you talk about like the fine grains of the polenta. I think there's a sharp difference. This was fantastic.
Thank you.
Chef,
yeah.
Give me the wheel. Here she comes. The master approaches. Looking fabulous, Chef Amy. Really, really is. Oh, you've outdone yourself. Oh, okay.
I don't make the cheeses. I celebrate them.
Oh, yeah, they are to be celebrated. Well, this looks absolutely phenomenal. Quite the bounty. Well, before we start feasting, let's meet today's panel. To my left here, we have Chelsea. To her left, Carly, and then Anna and Sadie, and also Cam. Sous Chef Cam.
Yeah, let's start with the gambas. So a lot of people don't know what gambas are. They basically mean shrimp in Spain. I've had a lot of travels throughout my Navy career, one being in Spain, and this is just a celebration of shrimp in its simple form. You're gonna get a little bit of spicy. There's some smoked paprika, some garlic, and a little bit of parsley on top, and celebrate some Gulf shrimp. So y'all go ahead and dig in.
Let's do a cheers and thank you to your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for coming.
Yeah.
Mondays aren't so bad.
I know, right?
Typically.
Good thing on a Monday.
This is it, right?
That's right.
This is what we're doing? Okay. I feel like we're the chops judges and we have to criticize your dish.
Well, that's what we always have to remind the like management and the chefs whenever we're requesting to do this show. Like, it's not a critical evaluation at all. You know, it's really more just like a celebration of what's offered. Because a lot of times they're like, well, hang on, and like really trained palates coming in to dissect every single thing that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, we can expand on the flavors and the inspiration as well.
Yeah.
But that's perfect for a Monday, like light after a long weekend of tailgating and, you know, eating everything in sight, something. I could eat that entire bowl. Light and, yeah, fresh.
Yeah. I think we're all, you know, being from Louisiana, I don't know if we're all from Louisiana, but seafood is, we all know it and we all love it. So it's a little bit different than shrimp and grits, you know, bringing a little bit of culture to Baton Rouge. So
I taste the Spanish flair.
yes.
Spicy.
So how long and where exactly were you in Spain?
I was actually stationed in La Maddalena, Italy, in the Navy. But we went to different ports, and one being Spain. We went a lot. So Rota, I had this dish in Rota, Spain, and I was like, man, this is, you know, sometimes it's just best to keep let the ingredients shine and keep things super simple. So this is one of my, I guess, like worldly travels that I want to bring back to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
What better way to do it with some Louisiana seafood?
So you were a chef in the Navy?
I was actually a photographer. I was in media, and which was kind of the best job in the Navy. So
Yeah. How'd you get into cooking?
Basically cooking, I guess, found me. I was always around it as a child and my family. I used to play in my uncle's garden, and you know, I didn't have this passion when I was a kid. I actually wanted to be a vet, which I'm finding Cam was, you know, yes. So we love animals.
You want to do this again with all of our pets? We can, yeah.
And we're all animals. I mean, let's be honest.
Doggy brunch.
Yes, indeed. I think cooking kind of found me. My mom was a working mother that every night came home and cooked a hot meal from scratch. And as I got older, I was like, you know, this is something I might want to take up. And so it was actually between the Navy and culinary. And I'm glad I went, you know, to the Navy first, because it not only paid for my culinary school, but I could also take all those travels and then bring them into and incorporate them into my food. So
We learned so much.
I need cooking to find me. Where is this? Is there somewhere I need to hang out? Like, how does this work? She's like, cooking found me. I'm like, oh, how does that happen?
Yeah, now you gotta find the cooking.
how about you, Cam?
Yeah, Cam, how'd you get into
Well, kind of the same thing. I spent a lot of my childhood with my mom. I was a mama's boy, so I spent a lot of time with her in the kitchen and just doing other things around the house. She was a really good cook, probably the best that I know. And just followed her, and then I went to LSUA like for college, and it didn't really suit me too well. So my dad just talked to me, and he just trying to help me find something that I would want to do, which I was really grateful for. And he he asked me how I would like to do like culinary, or just like, you know, how that would go. And I tried it, and I toured the school and all, and I did it, and I graduated.
We graduated from LCI. Yeah. Louisiana Culinary Institute. So, yeah.
So fun. Did y'all know each other in school?
No.
Oh, okay.
I actually graduated in 2014.
Yeah, I graduated in 2017.
How long does culinary school take?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And you cook the whole time, or are those like classroom hours?
It's actually, it's classroom and hands-on, which like
Okay.
for me is kind of the best way to learn.
I feel like you have to be a little bit of a natural to just be this good after 2 years. You can, like, I feel like I need 3 more years.
Yeah. I think I'd still be making hot pockets.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah, like
So
you have
let's
to be
say
pretty good already.
y'all were on Hell's Kitchen and you had to do that first. You know, when you always they present Chef Ramsay their signature meal, I think it's called, or dish. What would your signature dish be?
I always get that question.
Do you really? I thought it was actually
You
pretty
haven't yet
unique.
formulated an automatic answer?
No, because so the way that I cook almost like as an artistic expression. It's like saying what's your favorite song, or you know, and so it changes. And I kind of just let it be, like I said, a creative expression of who I am based on, you know, any particular day. So, and I feel like as a chef, I'm constantly evolving. So I don't want to get stuck in, you know, like tradition or,
Well, like as I mentioned in the kitchen, you can see a lot of that just in the visual presentation of a
Right.
lot of these dishes. Like there's an aesthetic to it.
Right.
And so it does shine through.
Yes,
No
absolutely.
question.
Yeah, and Cam kills it with the plating. Sometimes I have to. I'm like, can you make this look pretty?
That's my favorite part is like the presentation.
Yeah.
You eat with your eyes first.
Yeah, I almost feel guilty about eating it like at a certain point. I'm
Sometimes, like,
disrupting
this is so
the
I don't feel guilty.
the
about
optics,
eating.
right? Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it quickly goes away. Don't get me wrong. Cam, I'm going to let you take the lead here and explain this board.
So we have a manchego. It's aged 4 months. It's a queso manchego made with sheep's milk from Spain. We have a chorizo. It's an Iberico pork, dry cured chorizo sausage from Spain also. We have fromage d'Affinois. It's a soft ripened cow's milk cheese from France, and it's also like very similar to brie, really creamy, really good. We have a sopressata. It's dry cured pork. And has peppercorns. and it's from-
Post-production will add some arrows.
Right,
pointing,
yeah.
after each explanation.
And then we have a Petite Basque also, which is a pasteurized sheep's milk cheese from the Basque region of France.
All right.
And one thing that we want to do, we're kind of in the process. We want to have little cards on the table because our cheeses are constantly changing. Our charcuterie, we want to kind of keep those flowing. And a lot of people don't know the tasting notes, And I feel like if they see it, and they can relate it to something, they'll be, they'll be like have an understanding of what they're getting.
It's an experience.
They can be encouraged to start tasting a little bit more discerningly.
For sure. And we also do seasonal jams. Like this one right now is a berry jalapeno, basil jalapeno berry jam. And we also do mixed nuts. They're like spicy candy nuts. And our pickled veg tends to change too. Right now we're doing pickled okra and red onions. And the house mustard is a turmeric mustard too.
I gotcha.
And he makes all the boards look pretty. So I said, why don't you take the lead on that?
Yeah. It's a seasonal jams, man. I like it.
Y'all should do like a charcuterie board class, like for friends to come. Like, I always try to make it look pretty. I end
Learn
up
how
just
to plate it.
yeah, like oh my god.
Yesterday we had my nephew's christening party, and my sister-in-law had 3 friends working on the charcuterie board.
Really?
Oh,
Just take off.
sure.
I never know what to do with the jam and stuff because not some people don't want the jam. You don't want it to like touch everything.
Well, one thing that we're, we're trying to liven up this place a little bit. We're trying to,
Anything
we're
improper
thinking about
can just be
doing like
edited out.
wine
Don't
and
worry.
painting
Don't worry
in
about
here, maybe some
following the
cooking
rules.
classes.
Yeah. What are y'all's big nights here? We were just saying we haven't been here, but I would come here.
Yeah, and I mean the space. I mean,
I recommended Jessica have her rehearsal dinner here, and she booked it. Yeah. Oh, you did? Well, like I've seen people like on Facebook do them here before, and they're beautiful, and she actually booked it.
She had some varied, culinary experiences there. Like, where else aside from Italy, did you glean a lot of your inspiration?
definitely like Europe, I'd say Spain, Italy. I did a 3-month humanitarian tour to West Africa, which I think a lot of people don't get the. So I toured a lot of those countries.
Which one specifically? Where were you?
Congo, Angola, Sao Tome, and Senegal. Yeah, which is, say again?
Quite the tour.
Yes, absolutely. Which is cool because, you have Louisiana cooking is kind of based off of like Spanish cuisine, African cuisine. But I think there's something to be said about, when you see people that have a lot less than you have and they're the happiest
They're
people in the
extremely
world.
appreciative. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it definitely.
Well, I like to. There's going to be plenty. Well, it's all about expectations.
Yeah.
And
And
that
then-
goes with any happiness.
Right. And then in the States, I spent some time in DC, Southern California, Seattle. I did 2 cross-country road trips. So, yeah. It's
You are well traveled.
yeah.
Back to briefly to culinary school. Is there, you see, you have 2 years. Obviously, there's not like a dissertation at the end, but is there any sort of like crowning project that is a prerequisite for graduation, like you work on for
Yes. Well,
6 months or so?
basically, you have to pass a written exam, and then you also have to pass what they call a final practical. So it's basically, what is it? Chocolate mousse.
Yeah, mine was like chocolate mousse. We had an entree. I think it was chicken Cheshire.
Yeah.
And
What's that?
It's like a chicken and rice dish. You have to like brown all the chicken and cook the vegetables and let it roast in the oven in the same pan. It's a really good dish.
Yeah.
But you know
It's
well
just-
ahead of time that these are the dishes you're going to be
Yes,
asking
and you're
for there. It's not
consistently
impromptu.
practicing these knife skills. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make like rice pilaf. You have to make a bunch of like things. Oh, a hollandaise sauce too. Just like
Yes.
things that like they know that you should have learned.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to prepare.
Well, and things that could like completely ruin a meal. Like if your rice is wrong or,
Right.
you know, like hollandaise is on so many.
I hate bad rice.
No, you totally, like,
Rice is not easy if you don't know what you're doing. Like,
I went somewhere not that long ago and I got gumbo and the rice was so like crunchy. I was like, like it ruined it. I don't even know if the gumbo is good because I can't tell. 'Cause the rice
At an
is
unnamed competitor.
The biggest thing is learning.
experience too. We have to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have so many hours working at a accredited restaurant, either being working front of house or back of house. So that was a thing too.
Yeah. It's basically learning it's learning fundamentals and being able to use that in a real world setting.
Yeah, they want to make sure you have practical
Do
experience.
people make skinny chef jokes to y'all all the time?
A lot.
What an immediate response. Apparently it's pretty often, yeah.
But I'm just like, oh well, we lost.
No, you just have a speedy metabolism. There's nothing to be ashamed of, right?
I don't stop.
It's a positive.
But you probably don't ever have time to eat.
by the time you're finished cooking, you're just like,
Right. And we're tasting, yes.
And it's not like I'm just like sitting down with like a meal.
Well, and it's also a very like physical job. You know, a lot of people don't realize like
We're on our feet like 8 hours a day.
Well, there are bald barbers, same principle. I know a few. I am not one.
Well, working somewhere like Blend, obviously it's a huge deal with the wine and everything. Do you guys concentrate on what would pair well with wine, or do you leave that up to the bartenders? How does that part work?
on this new menu, we're tasting everything, and we're going to actually offer wine suggestions, and it kind of takes the guesswork out for the guests. And I mean,
I like when restaurants do that. Because then it also like, well, if you weren't thinking about getting wine, now you will. Because it's like, have this wine with it, it'll enhance the flavor.
Yeah, and another thing we do is bring in winemakers, and we'll have wine dinners, which is kind of really, it's cool for us because we kind of get to change up the normal menu, we get to be more creative, and we get to really focus on pairing one particular dish to one particular wine. So.
Well, and it's reassuring to the customers too, because they know that much thought has really gone into not only the combinations, but the dish itself. That you think about how things work together internally.
When we want to get a little creative and try new things, that's where our specials come into play.
And then if you see how people react to a special, will you sometimes put that on the menu if it was like a really popular?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll use guests.
And if not, at least like bring it again,
Yeah.
We're super open to critiques and comments. It's not all about how we perceive it, it's about how the guests perceive it.
So all of this is brand new.
Yes.
It's like an extra on a sitcom becoming a recurring character. Same process.
I was talking to an owner of a restaurant recently, and I'd gone there, and there was just nothing feminine about the menu.
Yeah.
Right? And as a woman, like, we like to try to take care of ourselves. It's hard in Southern Louisiana, I know that, but this is a feminine menu. The shrimp and the board and the hummus and everything. It's like this is something a woman can eat in a dress and not feel.
The concept of this place is, it's small plates, packed flavor. We want you guys to bring your friends in, but we don't want you guys to leave with such a full belly that, and you're not able to enjoy the wine.
Yeah.
So it's
You
supposed to
feel
be
bad
a,
about yourself.
supposed to be a blend of.
Satisfying.
A blend.
Yes. We were talking about that earlier about how small menus are so much more.
Oh, sure.
Appealing.
Right. It just affirms that they do everything that's on there very well.
Right. Yes.
And I love like getting a bunch of appetizers and just sharing. Like we do that anyway. Like it's just.
I like to try everything. I never let my fiance order the same thing as me. I'm like, no, we need to try 2 different things. So if you get that, I'm getting something else. So I love just a small plate.
And I mean, we have couches in here. You bring your friends, order small plate.
Well, that's the hardest thing when the dialogue is flowing. It takes some time to get to the dishes.
No, hey.
They're all.
These are delicious.
It speaks to the rapport that we've all struck. I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, at least the conversation's flowing.
This is so good.
Would you ever want to go on like a competition show, Chopped, or
I love either
beat
of you.
Bobby Flay?
Well, I love competition. But the TV part is something that
This is your warm up.
Yeah, I'm impressed you agreed to this.
it's just a lot. It's a lot of pressure. But I have people reaching out to me a lot. We have a big competition at LCI. It was called Race to Cannes, and I actually won that in 2014, and got to cook in Cannes, France for the film festival. So
Got a whole trip out of it.
yes, indeed. Full paid.
What was the competition?
3 weeks. It was basically Chopped. That they hold at LCI.
What was your basket?
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
I mean,
I love Chopped.
It's different. So you have to go through 4 or 5 rounds. So there are different baskets every round. It's all about balancing flavors, and salty, sweet, fatty, sour, spicy, and you have to kind of have a dictionary in your head of how all those things work.
Well, like you said, with Dr. Pepper, there's 23. My God. I mean, how do you find the room?
But whenever I'm creating dishes, it's about texture, it's about color, it's about flavor profiles, and so you have to really take all those things into account and know how all of those work together. And that's basically how you approach Chopped competitions.
Yeah, well, you're killing it so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, the notoriety alone, it's sort of even if you lose, you win.
Is that a date?
Yes, I think that, it's a perfect segue. That moves us into our dates.
Yeah.
These are bacon wrapped dates. Oh, God. We stuffed them with a little bit of fig chutney goat cheese. You have some fig balsamic on the bottom and a little bit of pistachio crumble. So go ahead and dig in.
I'm like, oh, it's a little sausage, and I'm like, no, that's a date. Because I did bacon wrap dates for a Halloween party 2 years ago, and they were a hit.
Those are the only dates I go on. Start?
I was waiting for somebody to bring in a date
To make the joke.
Yeah.
A little bit of chili oil, so if you get a little bit of spice, it's supposed to counteract that sweetness from the dates.
I agree with you, though, Sadie. The point you made earlier about the individual, personalized sauces that you make are so much easier to defend. Because it's a little too this, or by design. That was my goal all along.
Everyone knows how a hollandaise or
It should taste. Right.
I guess people who claim to be professionals, but so I can imagine that's hard to do the same every single time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Working at Blend, it's we get the chance to to change things about it and just make it our own.
Mm-hmm.
We get to bring different nationalities of food and different types and just tons of crazy stuff.
Yeah. So being the sous chef, do you get to have a lot of your own creative freedom?
Oh yeah. I get to do the hummus du jour, which is just about every week we get to change that.
That's this?
Yeah, that's this right here. Amy's been helping me a lot, adding all kinds of different elements, getting me out of my comfort zone. I feel like it's making me a better chef, as into making flavors work, not only for my own taste, but to notice the customers and the restaurant that I'm at.
That is so good. I'm obsessed.
When you said goat cheese, I almost cried.
Oh, please.
Yeah, it was just sweet enough. Not overpoweringly so, but it was present.
Right. It's kind of the sweet appetizer that we have on the menu.
The bacon is it's the perfect complement to that.
I love sweet and savory, yeah.
Any kind of critiques? Do we need them spicy?
No, it's so good.
Literally nothing.
No,
Delicious.
yeah.
Don't change a thing.
Don't touch.
And it's feminine enough. Right? At first I didn't know what you meant. I thought you meant the design of the menu.
No,
At first it was
just the things that are too heavy sometimes.
Yeah, no,
It's
absolutely.
You
I
see
hear
what
you.
I'm saying there,
Yeah.
right? I sat down somewhere and I read a menu and I was like, there's nothing I want right now.
And it's you don't want to eat too heavy, but you also don't want a salad. I'm not
Yeah.
here to get a
Right.
garden salad. I'm here to have a good meal, but I'm not about to eat a chili cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
Or
But also just the
chicken fried
ease of
steak,
actually eating something.
Yeah.
That can be a challenge. Can I
chili
actually?
cheeseburger. I'm not sure if anyone's ever had that.
That's where your mind goes.
I think a lot of restaurants are getting out of that 1980s full plate. You have one
Greed is
entree.
good.
Yeah, one entree, and then you're all right, it's time to take a nap.
Everything has been so good. I could eat a full dish of everything.
I know, I'm looking around.
I'm coming back and ordering all of it.
All right. Now, this is probably my favorite part of any episode. I'm going to ask everybody to name what was your favorite dish.
I mean, I've already said it like 5 times, but the dates for sure.
I'm gonna go the meatballs.
The dates, they were, yeah, I agree. The dates were so good.
I feel like as a dish, probably the dates, but as like a charcuterie board, I feel like it doesn't really count as like a dish.
But
I
the
could-
hummus was right there too.
Yes, but same. I feel like that's not a
I know, the hummus.
like. It's still like a snacky, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, probably charcuterie board because that's like my go-to anywhere, and that was beautiful and delicious. So
Yeah, you know, and me personally, I want to give some love to the shrimp, and I am. But I just think, you know, the relationship I formed with the meatballs in the kitchen, that, you know, cemented it for me. So that was it.
Did you get to see them make them?
Yeah. Oh, that was the first segment we did. They do step-by-step preparation of the appetizer.
That's cool. Love it. Everything was delicious.
No, it really was. It really was.
Thank you guys.
No. Thank you. This was.
Do one more
This
cheers.
was a great time.
Thank you for having us.
that.